everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Emma, and if you're not new here, we have an exciting reading vlog today, and that is reading one of my most anticipated new releases of 2026, The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. Now, as you can see, based on the copious amounts of annotation tabs I have in this book, I have already finished it, but I just filmed my outro and realized I never filmed an intro, so here is me filming the intro. I have done reading vlogs like this in the past where I've read anticipated new releases and have so much fun doing it because I can bring you guys along for the journey and document how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about it, and just the reading experience. And this is the first book of 2026 that I knew I wanted to do that again with. So grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive into the reading vlog. It's release day and it's a lot later than what I originally planned on for when I wanted to start this book. The delivery for this was a little bit delayed, but we're gonna open the package, get our hands on the book, and start it tonight. I'm not sure how far I'll be able to get in, but I know I'm starting this book tonight, no matter what. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I was already obsessed with the cover art, but seeing it in person, it's just 10 times more beautiful than how it even looked online. And then also the sprayed edges are so fun. Oh, and the end pages are beautiful. I'm not gonna read the full synopsis for you guys, but there is a tiny little blurb on the inside cover page that says, in everyone's life, there's a split-second decision that can change everything. And honestly, I'm gonna go in blind with just that. I have high expectations. I'm trying to not have too high of expectations because I think going into Say You'll Remember Me, which was her newest release prior to this, I went into it expecting it to be a 5-star read and it wasn't. So then I almost had that let down feeling even though I absolutely loved the book. So I want to go into this with as little expectations and as little knowledge as possible. I did also order some tabs so that I could annotate it, and they're not in either of my packages, so I'm gonna run to the mailroom really quick to see if I can find those tabs. I'm back and I have the package secured. Let's open it. This is the little pack. I'm pretty sure it's like a 2,000 pack or something like that. Nope, 1,200, I lied. But it literally has every color of the rainbow, and I intentionally got this one because I wanted to use tabs that fit the vibe of the book. So I'm thinking maybe like dark purples, orange. We'll see, I don't know. I'll have to pick out which ones I feel like match the vibe of this. But based on my experience with every other Abby Jimenez book I've ever read, I have a feeling I'm going to want to annotate this because I love her writing so much. And in the past, there have been times in her books where I have highlighted every single line on an entire page of a book. So because of that, I feel like these little guys might come in handy so I can actually tab those pages or really any other pages with quotes that stand out to me. I'm literally so excited. Excuse how much of a hot mess I look like right now. I just did the full skincare and I obviously have my eye masks on, but I wanted to give an update that it has been now almost 48 hours. Is that right? Yeah, it's been almost 2 full days since I got this book and started it, and haven't given an update, haven't read anymore. The night I started it, I fully intended on staying up like the whole night, just binging the book, and that did not happen. I was literally so exhausted that day for some reason, and I didn't want to push myself to keep reading this book if I wasn't gonna be fully locked in. Like if it was another book, that would be one thing, but because of how excited I am about this and how long I've been waiting for it, I don't want to miss even one little detail. But I now finally have a decent chunk of time where I have nothing to do and I can sit down, crack this open, and read uninterrupted. So I'm gonna keep reading it and see how far I can get in the next little bit before I need to do some chores and start dinner. And I'm gonna stop rambling because I am so excited to finally get into this book. Honestly, feels like right now is me starting it for the first time, but you know, I'd rather take my time with it and get a better experience out of it than try to force myself to rush through it. Officially the next morning. Once again, don't judge the appearance. I literally just woke up, but I wanted to give an update on this book as soon as possible. I got pretty far into it. I'm a little over halfway, maybe. I read for about like 2 hours straight and then continued to read for about another hour and a half in between doing chores and other stuff around the house. So I feel like I made a decent chunk in that amount of time. I'm currently on page 182. So far, I'm really liking this, but the biggest thing I'm noticing is the pacing of this book and how that is different from her other books. It's definitely a super duper slow burn. It's very tension filled, which occasionally bugs me in books when it's almost so slow that you just feel like things are dragging. But I do not feel like this book is dragging just because Abby Jimenez is so good at making the tension entertaining, and it's almost better that it's that much of a slow burn. This is a spoiler-free vlog, but I will tell you just the gist of the story from what I've read. Essentially, we're following Larissa, who is kind of in a tough spot financially, just with stuff she's dealing with her family, and she is dating this guy named Mike, and Mike has a best friend named Chris. So this is not the brother's best friend trope, it is actually the boyfriend's best friend trope. And as soon as I realized that pretty early on in the book, I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it because I don't love the cheating trope, and I don't even know if that specifically is going to be taking place in this book, but there's definitely some elements of it that I was like, ooh, I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about it, but I'm actually not minding it, and I can't explain any further unless you read it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Also, as all Abby Jimenez books usually do, there is a little dog, and the dog in this book is named Wolverine, and he is such a little character and makes the story so fun to read about. And honestly, the dog brings in a lot of those comedic rom-com-y moments in between the more serious and emotional stuff that's going on. And I'm loving Chris. He is such a sweetheart and he's so thoughtful. I always say Abby Jimenez does a fantastic job at writing love interests, but she really is hitting the nail on the head with this one. Also, as you can see, I've been annotating and also I've been highlighting a lot in this book. Here's my tabs. And I've just been highlighting quotes that stick out to me. Some of them are just like sweet little things the characters say, but some of them are those like beautiful paragraph long quotes that Abby Jimenez is so well known for writing. As of right now, if I had to predict what I would rate this, I would say it's feeling somewhere in the 4.5 to 4.75 star range. My mind could change. This could end up being a 5-star read. Just as of right now, that's kind of where I'm sitting and how I'm feeling about it. I have a lot of stuff to get done today, so it will probably be a bit later before I'm able to jump back into this, but I'm hoping maybe I could finish this tonight, and if not tonight, I have a lot of free time tomorrow morning, so maybe I could sit down and finish it then. We will see, and I will come back and update you guys when I'm picking it up again. I don't even remember the last update I gave on this book, but I do know that I did not get around to reading more of this in the past few days. I want to say the last time I talked to you guys was Thursday when I had gotten a pretty good chunk into it, and I have not picked it up since then. I had a super busy weekend and didn't really have long pockets of time where I'd be able to sit down and read this, and because I'm trying to give myself a top tier experience and maximum enjoyment out of this book, I didn't want to sit down and just read it for like 10 minutes knowing that I'm probably just going to be able to read maybe a chapter and then forget what happens. However, it is now Monday. It's a beautiful afternoon. The sun is shining through my windows and I have a little bit of free time, so I think I'm gonna crack it open finally and hopefully get another chunk into it. Tomorrow is the last day of the month and I really was hoping to have this done by the end of March, but if it ends up taking me longer than that, I'm not gonna be too hard on myself because like I keep saying, I'm just gonna take my time with this one and finish it when I finish it. But I am very excited to be jumping back into it. done with a decent chunk more of this book yesterday. Not as much as I thought I was going to, but still pretty good progress. I'm currently on page 232, and all I have to say is the yearning in this book is unmatched. Like, I have never read a book before where I could like feel the yearning in my chest as much as I can while reading this, and it's driving me crazy, but in a good way. Also, I'm sure you can see how many tabs I have in this. There are literally almost full pages in this book that I have highlighted because that's how great the quotes and the moments are, and I would love to read them to you because they're so good, but I do fear it would give spoilers, and I'm trying to keep this spoiler free. I have a little bit of free time right now, so I'm gonna crack this open and see how much farther I can get into it. I'm addicted to this story and these characters, and I can't wait to see what happens. I have officially finished The Night We Met. I forget how far in I was on the last update I gave, but after that update, I basically just sat either in here or at my kitchen counter and basically binge read the rest of it. And I know I keep talking about it, but look how many tabs I have in this book. I annotated this so much, especially the second half of the book. I felt like every other line or like whole entire pages I was highlighting and underlining and writing in the margins, just because Abby Jimenez's writing is so beautiful. And I think I say this every time I talk about one of her books. She has such a way with her writing where she will talk about a human experience in words that make so much sense, but also I never would have thought to explain them in. I'm gonna read a quote to give an example of what I'm talking about. This is still a spoiler-free vlog, so if you're concerned about spoilers, just skip ahead a little bit, but this is out of context, so I don't think it would spoil anything. But this little section is basically talking about how when you love someone, you wanna make sure they're safe, and like the fear of them being hurt is so intense, but this is how Abby Jimenez says it. But the thought of her being in danger overrode my own will. Like an electric charge zinging under my skin, telling me to get to where she was, to claw through the walls if I had to. The worst case scenarios pitched around inside me, and no matter how hard I tried, they wouldn't let me go back to sleep. And this isn't even one of the best examples. This was literally just the first one I could find. The way she explains things that are so relatable, but in words that are so beautiful and poetic, and just like I never would have thought to describe that feeling like that, but reading it on the page, it makes perfect sense. I was trying to see if I could find another one that wouldn't give spoilers, but I feel like all of my favorite ones do give spoilers, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But if I were to go through and read all my favorite quotes, we would be here forever. Like, that could be a video on its own because that's how much I loved this. For how much of a slow burn this book was, this is one of the most romantic romance books I've ever read. And if you're an acts of service girly, this book is for you. Like, if you enjoyed the acts of service from our male main character in her book Just for the Summer, this will also be right up your alley. I loved this so much. The story was phenomenally written. I loved our characters. They were flawed and they were messy, but they were real, and that's what made reading about them and reading their story so relatable and engaging. And the side characters in this story too, there are some ways it ties to some of her other books, which I love when she does that, so that was really fun to read about. But also the depth we got from our side characters, from one side character in particular, I really enjoyed. And Abby Jimenez literally just announced the title of her next book, and I believe it's going to be following a side character that was in this book, and I'm very excited to read it. Now I'm gonna look up the title of what that new book is. Okay, I just found it. The new book is coming out next spring, and it's called Feels Like Falling. It is going to be a part of the same interconnected standalones that starts with Say You'll Remember Me and then this, and then the new book Feels Like Falling will be the third one. But knowing the character that we'll be following in the new book from how he was in this book, I am just so excited to get that story, and I feel like I'm probably gonna cry. This was emotional, it was funny, it was romantic, it was all of the things I always love about Abby Jimenez books, but honestly done even better than before. I believe at some point I gave an update that I was feeling like this book was in the 4.5 star range somewhere, and I would say for the first half of the book that is how I was feeling, but the second half of the book it slowly started going up and up and up in rating for me, and when I closed it I just was like, yeah, that was a 5 star. This wasn't one of those books that necessarily was giving me that intense 5-star feeling the entire time I was reading it, but it was one of those books that the 5 star almost crept up on me, if that makes any sense. And just when I closed the book, I knew that this was a 5-star read. I still think Just for the Summer is still my favorite #1 Abby Jimenez book of all time, but this is a very, very close second, and it's topping Yours Truly, which has been my second place for a very long time. But this one has worked its way in the ranks and is second place for my favorite Abby Jimenez books. I'm going to stop rambling about it. This was perfect, no notes, 5 out of 5 stars, like I said. And I'm very glad I took my time with this book and also went into it with no expectations, because I think I got a better reading experience out of it that way. Let me know below what your favorite Abby Jimenez book is, and also let me know if you have read this book yet and what you thought of it. I have so much fun doing this style of reading vlog and bringing you guys along on the journey of reading books that are highly anticipated for me and that I'm extra excited about. So if you guys would want to see more videos and vlogs like this in the future, definitely let me know. As always, I will have my Instagram, TikTok, and Goodreads linked in the description below if you'd be interested in following me over there and checking out my other content, or you can always head over to this channel and check out the other videos I have posted currently. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.